here. Perfect. All good. And I'll watch the waiting room here as we go. I'll have to be letting people in as we get going. But thanks everybody for joining. This is a type of event we used to do a lot last year, and I'm going to start to bring it back. I've just been a little busy. But the idea of this event is to hear an actual agency hearing actual partner pitches, providing actual honest feedback about the pitch itself, and pros and cons about what they did or maybe forgot to do. And the idea is not to decide on a partnership in 10 minutes. That's not possible. The idea here is you met Allyson at a conference and you pulled her to a side table, and she doesn't have an hour. She's got 10 minutes to hear what you think the partnership opportunity is. You've seen Allyson's website and you know a little bit about her, not a lot. And you present 10 minutes. What do you think the opportunity is? You are free to ask questions and get some answers in the beginning. And then use the 10 minutes however you would if you pulled her to the side in the conference. And then Allyson and I will provide our feedback. Allyson will provide hers. I'll be more focused on the feedback of the presentation and what the partner opportunity, how it was presented. Allyson will be more of if that partner opportunity is right for her, but also she probably has some feedback of what you did and what you didn't do. Cool. Letting some more people here in. And Allyson, spin, 30 seconds. Who are you? What do you do? And what agency you represent?
Fantastic. Yeah, thanks for having me, Alex. And hi, everyone. It's good to see you all. My name is Allyson Cochran. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at a digital marketing agency named Silverback Strategies. We're based in DC, but operate nationwide in the United States. And here at Silverback, we really believe that the pace of change in digital marketing has accelerated, and marketing leaders, frankly, are falling behind more than ever at this point. And keeping up with, and then most importantly, capitalizing on that pace of change is most difficult for the market segment that we've tailor-made our agency to support, the mid-market. So those between 50 and 500 million typically in revenue, you can go up above or below that threshold. They're asked to do more with less every year. They have limited resources in terms of skill sets or budget or both. And here at Silverback, we complement those limited resources for a client, and everything we do starts with measurements. So we're challenging, we're educating, empowering our clients on how to capitalize on the change that's happening in digital platforms and across channels. And then we're using that research and data, audience insights to supercharge our core services of media and SEO. So good to be here. I'm looking forward to the pitches.
Love it. Killer. Matt's going to do this. Awesome. Very cool. So we got the information. We organized 3 pitches that you have not heard, caveat, have not heard before, which I think is important for this. And then we gave you guys a little bit of information, the pitchers, whatever you want to call yourself, people pitching. A little bit of information, not a lot. So the idea is, we want you to do maybe a little bit of homework and looking into it, maybe check LinkedIn, check the website, and get an idea of how your product and your partner opportunity enables this type of agency to do what, and get her excited about what it is that carrot at the end of the stick is, so that she'll book a follow-up call. That's the idea. And we are trying to book follow-up calls. So Allyson, if it is relevant, please say it, and we'll get that next thing. And I believe we have Katana ERP to start, and I think that's Sean.
Hey,
you going to do yours?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Well, let's do this. If you're going to screen share, feel free to test that out, but you're only going to have 10 minutes. Any testing and stuff like that, you get done now, and then I have to keep it pretty strict. So I'll watch time. I'll chat. Maybe you got 1 minute left type thing.
All right. Sounds great. Hopefully that's coming through on your end, Allyson.
It is.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks a lot for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. My name is Sean Coltis. I'm the head of channel partnerships at Katana. And just to give a little bit about Katana, we've been around for about 6 years. And the company really took off during COVID as more and more businesses were moving to sell direct to consumer. And so this massive increase in small businesses moving to direct to consumer, as well as mid-sized businesses finding alternate channels to reach their customer, led to this challenge where businesses were selling online through these channels, but struggled to manage their inventory and ensure their order fulfillment. And so when I'm looking at Silverback, one of the things that we've sort of had a lot of success with is actually accounting firms. So accounting firms have this strategy right now in North America to expand their service offering. So to kind of land and expand with an existing customer. And we haven't necessarily seen that same strategy within the agency's approach, but think that there might be an opportunity there where one of the common fears that we hear from owners is that they're going to invest their marketing dollars with an agency, it'll work, and then they don't have the inventory or maintain the quality or fulfillment rate that they have always had with those clients. And so one of the questions I wanted to ask you, Allyson, is, learning a little bit more about your business strategy and what are some of the business objectives you're trying to achieve? And do any of those sort of entail trying to expand your service offering with the clients that you're working with today?
Sure. Yeah, great question. So, Silverback, we are a performance marketing agency. We manage our clients' media, digital advertising placements across paid search, social, video, display, CTV, et cetera. The creative strategy, the measurement tactics that are required to effectively allocate and optimize budgets towards revenue outcomes. And then on the SEO side, optimizing how our clients' websites, but certainly their content strategy beyond that is optimized for organic performance on search engines, and considering how organic placements are evolving as search is changing with Gen Z and AI-driven search results. So in terms of expanding our services, in-house we have creative services, we have content strategists, we have measurement experts, data scientists, we have media and SEO specialists. There's a lot of bolt-on services that we will leverage partners for. In terms of an ERP, it's not one that we actually work with right now. We don't have an existing partnership. So something we're certainly open to, and we understand we really want to maintain that DNA as a performance marketing shop and provide the best relationships or best opportunities for our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes total sense. And there was a couple of things that you had mentioned earlier on when you're talking about your introduction that we certainly hear is businesses need to do more with less. And really finding capital to invest in marketing is extremely important. And one of the things that we're finding with businesses that are manufacturing or that are managing inventory, in order to maintain the short lead time that is expected by the consumer today, based on what Amazon has done to the market, they invest a lot of money in inventory. We're talking 10% of net revenue or higher. So if they're a $10 million company, they've got $1 million in inventory. If they're a $100 million company, they've got $10 million in inventory. So if you can sort of help them continue to grow and expand as an organization, one of the challenges they might run into is having to hold so much inventory in stock. And it brings me to this customer use case. So Peace Collective, they're a Canadian company. Shout out to Canada, that's where I'm from. They actually hold a lot of the brand licenses for sports teams. So Blue Jays, Yankees, and they work with 135 different brands. One of the challenges that they had as an organization was the amount of inventory they would need to carry to maintain short lead times. And it actually was a cap and a bottleneck for their business to continue to scale and grow, was the amount of inventory they needed to keep in stock. And so as I think of like a marketing agency, the analytics that you might have, fulfillment rates, fulfillment, time to fulfillment would be really valuable insight that you could provide a business owner, not necessarily then providing the solution, but potentially a suggestion saying, hey, one of the things we're analyzing here and noticing is we're driving that traffic, but that traffic isn't necessarily always landing as revenue to your business because you're not able to fulfill. And one of the biggest challenges is actually not bringing in, is if you aren't able to fulfill on an order with an existing customer, that chance of that order repeating from that customer drops significantly. And so with Peace Collective, they utilize Katana to create this make to order workflow, which enabled them to carry I think they had 5 different warehouses carrying the amount of inventory in order to fulfill all these different teams. They were actually able to bring that down by 1/5. Everything is now managed within one warehouse, reduce their inventory carrying costs by 75%. And so that allowed them to continue to grow and invest in that marketing dollars. And so I think, and I'm curious, do you think there's an opportunity if you were able to help a business better manage their inventory and then allow your business to then capitalize on potential future investment and further marketing dollars if you're able to sort of facilitate that growth and sort of overall better business management?
There could be. I'm going to answer your question with a question real quick, and then I can answer it more. But I'm getting the indication that Katana is really built for e-commerce specific organizations, although you mentioned accounting firms at the top.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we work with accounting firms as partners, similar as we would with agency. Though they don't actually implement the ERP system, their clients have a challenge and it's managing inventory. And so certainly the majority of our customers sell in some way through an e-commerce channel, about 75% of them. But often they're hybrid. So they're selling B2B, they're selling online, they've got brick and mortar stores. So there's a number of ways that these businesses or channels that these businesses are selling through. And one of the value propositions of Katana is we consolidate all of those different sales channels into one order management screen and then allow them to efficiently fulfill those orders, purchase the material they need to potentially manufacture those goods, track their costs, and then enable the fulfillment of those orders.
Got it. So yeah, to answer your question, Silverback, we lean 90% ballpark numbers, but 90% lead generation clients. We do have a bit of an e-commerce portfolio. Those tend to be tied towards multi-location retail organizations where they value having customers come into the store, the brick and mortar store, versus rely so heavily on their e-com. We don't do a ton of D2C, but that's a growing area for us.
Interesting.
So as we expand into D2C and more of the product side of things versus services like home services or e-commerce in the sense of registering for an event, those types of things, I could see this being more of an opportunity. But for right now, an ERP for managing, using home services as an example, but managing, workflow for where your teams are deployed and how many projects you can take on. I'd be curious to understand how well suited Katana is for a lead gen style business that is a services foundation.
Yeah, great question. So, and maybe I should have talked this up front. We got 10 minutes, so
yeah, sure. No,
getting it home quick. So the ideal customer profile for Katana would be a business that has product. So they are selling and managing inventory. Businesses that are service oriented as their main form of revenue would not be likely a good fit for our solution.
Yeah. Then I think this is a future growth potential opportunity. We're probably not the best partner prospect for the moment.
Yeah, understandable for sure. And I probably should have looked at that a little bit closer, but it was a great opportunity to kind of have a chance to learn a bit more about your business and talk a bit about Katana and how we're helping businesses grow. And potentially, like you had said, as you guys begin to move more into the product-based space where businesses are managing inventory, there might be some alignment and we could find a partnership that could work and benefit both of us.
Fantastic. Great to meet you. Thanks, Sean.
John, awesome, man. That was killer.
Thank you.
I don't want to give away the farm and the feedback before the next one. We don't want to help the other guys out too much. But we can give a couple little things that you thought he did well, and then let's save what he missed for the end. Let's do all the misses. So I have like a plus did this well, plus did that well, and then I have a minus. If you don't mind, Allison, give
Sure. Okay, keep the minuses until the end.
If you don't mind the minus, I can't stay on. I'm really sorry. I've got
I put this together in a notes package, Sean, and a recording. I'll make sure you get that, buddy. Thank you for coming, man. That was good. That was actually really good. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest plus, Sean, and I'm sure you're already aware of this, but I like how you gave a good partner example of how you work with them. And then, you took the time to get to know us as a business a bit more, and you didn't try to shove the partnership beyond once you realized this isn't, right now a great fit. You didn't go into sales mode, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, I like how you focus on shared ICP to start the accounting ICP. Really great. You found common ground pretty quickly. I thought that was great. You left space for questions. A lot of time in 10 minutes, you kind of rush and just bulldoze over the presentation and try to get all of it done and not leave enough time for questions. But you did that really well. And then I have some minus, but all in all, man, these are tough. 10 minutes, it's really tough. You don't know what the right answer is, but you did well, man. So we'll let you get off to your next meeting. Look out for the post in the collective after this, and you can review that. Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Sean.
Alex, thank you so much for coordinating this. I really appreciate it. So as Katana is now trying to make our way into some of the agency spaces as partnerships, as our objective, because we've been really focused on the IPP within the accounting space. This is super helpful feedback. So Allyson, thank you so much for your time. What a cool way to sort of learn more about your business and future potential partner opportunities. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Likewise. Take care.
Have a great day,
Hi,
guys.
everyone. All right, so this is lead post. Roy, new to the community, but put his hand up, wanted to present. Feels like there's an opportunity here for Silverback, so we want to give him a chance to come and do his thing. Roy, you can get started as soon as you're ready. If you want to test screen share, you can use that time now, and then we can start. Up to you. Do you have anything you're going to share? Or are you just going to chat? Oh, you're on mute here.
I like to leave myself on mute as an icebreaker, kind of let people get situated. No, I have nothing to share. I just spent a lot of money on these big headphones, so I wanted to make sure that that I got everybody's eyes on them. Allyson, thank you so much for doing this. I'm Roy. I'm the head of marketing at Lead Post, and this is a super valuable opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about how our pitch for agencies sounds. And this, knowing about your relationship with Lead Forensics, this might not be a perfect fit now, but I would love to kind of let you know what it, kind of where we're different. And if in the future something might fit, then you can remember us then. We're similar to Lead Forensics. The biggest difference is that instead of just providing the company name, we provide the actual person's name and contact information. So we call them actionable leads because it's actually person level data that you can immediately take action on. And the really so then the other different thing, and this is something that maybe would be more immediately interesting, is that we also have B2C data. So working in higher education, working with Cornell or Strayer, I could see how those kinds of institutions would potentially want to reach out to potential students or parents with the same kind of retargeting that I assume that you're doing to a degree with Lead Forensics now. Does that, knowing what you know, I'm sure about Lead Forensics, is there anything in particular that that you have any questions about?
Not right now. Just as a heads up, we don't use Lead Forensics right now. My ears are perking up when you're saying things like company name, person name. How does that work in this era of data privacy that we are operating within? Because as an agency, what we're seeing is marketing channels that rely heavily on user signals, whether that's you're in Meta and you're using lookalike audiences and trying to match it effectively, but the devices are breaking the connection between ad platforms and devices. They're getting less and less effective, and there's a time limit on how long they're going to work. So how do you do that in this era?
So we have third-party opt-in data partners. So they're able to, we work with them, and then we're able to take that HIM data based on, right now, largely based on cookies, and then match those hashed emails back to the customer information. And from there, we can also pull B2B information. So it's all United States data. So GDPR isn't an issue. The issue is that you do have to be careful in some states like California and things like that. And so we work to stay abreast of all those changes. And so far we've not had any issues, and we've talked to legal and feel very comfortable about that part. You have to have your privacy policy set up correctly and all that. But the other thing that I think is really great is that in addition to the that B2C data, the B2B data, another difference is that we've actually been working on a probabilistic matching solution. So right now, obviously, everybody keeps talking about cookies going away, and Google keeps punting that into the future, so maybe they'll never go away. But we've been working on a solution ever since they first said that they were going to do that. We, unlike many other people out there, did not call their bluff. Maybe we should have. But on the bright side, we're now ready for when third-party cookies are no longer an option. We will still be able to provide our customers with in fact, we've seen the data is as good or even better than what we were able to provide with cookies. And then as far as our partnership program specifically, what we want to do is we want our partners to be able to succeed right away. And so there's really two main things we do to make that happen. The first one is discounted data. So it's 20 to 40% of a discount on data, depending on whether it's an agency or a white label partner. And that means, you could undercut our prices if you wanted and just use it as a way to get your foot in the door with somebody who might be a good fit, or you can add a good margin on top of it. And then the other thing is we allow our agency and white label partners to offer their own free trials. So we offer free trials, and when you have a customer or a client who you think might be a good fit, you don't have to say, hey, we're going to charge you for this, or we're going to foot the bill for this. You actually have the ability to set them up for a B2C or a B2B free trial. And then if you go white label, we've got custom branding. And then with either plan, you're able to offer any kind of package that you want. You can kind of slice it and dice it in a way that makes sense for your clients.
Got it. Okay.
And that's it, unless you have any questions for me.
So the probabilistic model perked my ears up as well, but how do so you mentioned how through your partnership program, how agencies work with you, whether it's white labeling or marking up the fees, but what are some of the use cases of applying your data that you find the most success with?
So the biggest thing that people do, you mentioned, that people have limited budgets now, and they're trying to do the most they can with the resources they have. And that's where agencies are using this, and they're really using it across industries. We've had people use it. Ryan Homes used it. They're a home builder, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers, a lot of B2C companies. And then we started our B2B program about a year ago, and people have been using that. But that's the key, is to these people who maybe would have fallen out of the funnel, so to speak, you're able to pull them back in. So they'll take this data and they can send them emails. They'll send them direct mail. We have within the platform, you can trigger direct mail to B2C data that you get. And then they can create lookalike audiences and things like that. So the big idea is they're maximizing the ROI of what they're doing now.
Okay. And all of this is triggered upon somebody having already been exposed to our client's brand, for example?
so they go to the website, and it's on the B2C side, it's a 20% match rate. On the B2C side, it's 40%. On the B2B side, it's 20%. And there are a lot of options as far as filtering. You can filter so that you don't have to pay for anybody who's already a customer or for anybody who's an employee. You can only target people who visit certain pages. We have geographic filters. We have a lot of things that we add so that you're able to really zero in on who you want, because a lot of people do it by page view or just leads in general. And we wanted to make sure that you're getting as close as we can. We want to make sure you're getting the leads that are actually valuable to you.
Makes sense. Thank you for that introduction.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Killer. All right. Yeah. Just at time. Roy, thank you so much, man. I always like it when somebody opts to do non-presentation pitch, because if all three are doing presentations, it kind of can get a little monotonous, but that was good. Go ahead, Allyson, with your pros, and then we'll save the negative feedback.
Yeah, I mean, you started to allude to it, but I like the casual approach. I think too often we can rely on decks as a crutch. So I thought that was a refreshing approach, Roy. I also liked that it looked like you did your homework on some of our ICPs, B2B, higher ed, services companies. So you started to tailor the conversation, particularly towards the end there, in a good way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it made it human, comfortable. Humor is always good early on. Explain the reseller white label opportunity really well. And then, yeah, the same feedback as Allyson. I think, 10 minutes, you did a good job kind of deciding what to do in that 10 minutes. Speaking of decks, we got Typeform, who's going to show some slides. Perfect segue.
Decks aren't all bad.
Roy, stay on, man. I got some good feedback for you, and then we can do a follow-up call.
Awesome.
I like to think that we already had the casual conversation, so we'll go into a little bit more here. So good to meet you, Allyson.
We see your Slack, by the way, Dan. Are you trying to share your other screen?
Oh, yeah. You want to see my Slack?
Unless you want to show us your Slack conversation. Up to you.
It's with you.
There could be a strategy there. I don't know.
How about that?
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, good. I'll start the time.
All right, very good. Well, it's good to see you, Allyson. Good to meet. A lot of familiar faces on the call. Some partners I see here, which I'm very excited to see in the presentation. I think some of them have probably seen this before. So move it into slideshow. So if you don't know who we are, Typeform. So I'm head of commercial partnerships. My name's Dan Sandler, head of commercial partnerships at Typeform. And recently we have moved our entire partner program under the GTM org. So I manage both our channel and alliances and tech partners within my scope of things here. So for this, we talked a little bit about our agency program that we've recently launched November, December of last year, just getting a handful of partners on board to really go deep. Big part of the mission at Typeform. So if you don't know what Typeform is a no-code form solution. We are the leader in first-party data collection. And so we think it's the best way to collect data directly from the customer's mouths, right? At the end of the day. So Typeform has built a no-code solution, one question at a time form product, forms, quizzes, surveys, feedbacks, etc. So a lot of opportunity to capture first-party data directly from the person and taking that data for lead generation, utilizing it for attracting customers to sell products or services. And that's the main use case for Typeform. So we're working a lot with agency partners really to help them expand their services and their service offerings. So I'm not going to go through everything here. I'll probably send you a follow-up email after this with more information. But our program has been built into a tiered structure. The tier structure is really established so we can work really closely with select partners that we see a lot of value in the Typeform offering for their customers. So every partner that we have at the organization starts off as a blue agency partner program. And you'll see as we start to generate more opportunity between the two organizations, we can help work together to move you up into that diamond tier where you get the most benefits within the program. Again, the biggest part of the program and the biggest thing that we're trying to offer partners like yourselves is the ability to create a set of services that you could take to your customers. At the end of the day, it's my goal to help you increase your bottom line, because what we all want to do is we need to generate more revenue across the board. And with the landscape and the tech ecosystem right now, it's very hard for organizations to generate new customers, new service offerings. So what we're doing is we want to work directly with you, create that service offering and those packages, and help you take that to your customers, take that to our customers, and really promote this as a mutually beneficial partnership. So what do you get from us as being a part of the program? Well, again, as I was talking, it's really heavily about expanding your services and demonstrating your expertise within Typeform. So if you're working with your customers, and what it seems like you do is lead generation, data collection, and what we are trying to do is create that set of services through the Typeform platform. And not just with Typeform alone. So utilizing our ecosystem to help you create a full service offering, whether it's data collection from Typeform, filling that data and integrating within a CRM platform, using something like a Supered to where you'll be able to white label the Typeform approach, or utilize our embeddable builder within other technology platforms, really to make it so you don't have to leave the tools that you're in to use the Typeform product. That's the big thing that we're trying to do here at Typeform. You'll get a feature called Agency Access. Again, your customers will be on their own accounts within Typeform. Within Agency Access will allow you to really work seamlessly with your customers and their Typeform accounts. You'll be able to create Typeforms, launch Typeform programs, and also be able to seamlessly integrate their Typeforms into all the tools into the ecosystem that you're executing with. Your customers will get rewards for you being a partner with us. Your customers will get a 20% discount on annual business plans, 10% discount on annual plus plans. As you move up in tiers, which I'll go through the tiers here momentarily, but as you move up in tiers, you'll get spotlight in the agency directory. You always have access to a dedicated partner manager. Within that partner manager access, you get priority support, you'll get exclusive content. And then again, as you move up in tiers, beta access to features and functionalities that will be only for your agency before we launch to any customer. So again, this goes in a little bit more detail. Within the program, we're building out a training and certification program. Again, we want to make sure that you're successful utilizing Typeform to drive your bottom line up. So we're going to certify you, we're going to train you, we're going to make sure you know all things partners. Again, we talked about the benefits, account mapping tools we're starting to use a lot with agency partners like yourselves, because it's a big goal of ours to not be a one-way partnership, but we want to drive business to you as well. So co-marketing and co-selling is a huge benefit to the program that we have that we're creating to execute. Dedicated support, we talked a little bit about that. And then we use PRM, we use Partner Hub right now as our PRM. Shout out to Alex on that. Thank you for a beautiful tool. Really, again, it's not about a one-way street, and that's what Partner Hub offers in us. It's more of that community aspect and really tailoring a program that can be mutually beneficial for both parties. So you look at a little bit of our tiers. So this is what we look at right now. So again, you start off in the agency tier, but as more of your customers start to utilize Typeform, there's more opportunities for us to really go deep together and really start to generate mutually beneficial awareness. So talking about co-marketing, co-selling activation. Once you hit that diamond tier, or actually, once you hit that diamond tier, we give a free Typeform account, and that Typeform account is used so we can really create deeper set of service offerings that would allow you to get the full functionality for Typeform as a diamond partner for us. So there's a lot here. We can go into more detail at it when I have more than 10 minutes to chat with you, but wanted to make sure that we showcase everything that we have here in a limited amount of time.
That was fantastic. Thank you. I am not familiar with Typeform. Actually, I was not familiar, as Alex alluded to. I'd heard about Katana or the name, but familiar with any of you all. So one question I have is like, why Typeform? I want to understand how Typeform fits into the agency workflow. That and it's a bit of a shortcoming probably of this format, thinking we've already met at a trade show or something like that. But how does it fit in typically in your agency's workflows?
Yeah, so the typically the way that it fits in with the agency's workflows, a lot of the agencies that we're working with right now are agencies focused on lead generation. And so they're already creating marketing campaigns and strategies to attract more customers for their customers and any marketing campaigns that they're doing. So Typeform is a data collection tool at the end of the day. So if you're looking to collect data, Typeform is the tool that you're going to want to collect that data with. Specifically in your use case, I saw you guys do some media planning and buying as well.
We do. Mhm.
So the great thing about Typeform in our partner program is we're working with a lot of technology partners that provide additional set of services that we can bring together and package together with you. So we have organizations like Humming.ai. It's a programmatic data or a media buying platform. They have built the capability to allow Typeform to be embedded into their data or their media buying tools. So for example, if you buy media if you buy media on CNN.com, you have the media buying badge that you have. Rather than sending that customer to a website or a landing page to get more information, why not capture the data real time right then and there, filling out a Typeform? So it's not going to send you anywhere else. You stay on CNN.com, you iframe up a Typeform. That person shows their interest in your organization, your product, your service. They're giving your data real time. So there's things like that we offer for agencies like yourselves. That's a little bit different than most organizations or other SaaS tools that are providing.
Got it. How reliant are you guys on the channel signals that are kind of fed through your form?
What do you mean by that?
Meaning to track back to it from an attribution standpoint. You mentioned you guys are a first party data, capture tool, but how reliant are you on the platform provided signals that are going to flow through, and then obviously browsers, devices that might break those connections and strip out tracking?
Yeah, so
At risk.
so the tracking is the person's generating so they're not tracking the usage, right? They're tracking the actual information that gets fed into Typeform. So when a customer when a person is actually filling out that data, that's going right into the Typeform from an analytics standpoint. So we don't have to use other tools from a tracking perspective. So again, the first party data is the person, actually the respondent actually filling out the content themselves. We do have other integrations. Like we have integrations with Pixel, Facebook Pixel that we're using from tracking perspective. And then we're actually doing with Zoom Info to kind of better understand the data that's coming in. So we have things like that we're building into the overall platform. But for the most part, that first party data is kind of coming directly from the customer.
Interesting. Okay. I'd be interested in learning more as we start to get into the data side. It would make sense to loop in probably our head of ad ops and measurement to get technical. But what's swirling in my head is how does a solution like Typeform compare with some of the attribution and testing that we do and kind of fit into that workflow, but a little beyond my sphere of expertise. Thanks for the introduction.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Dan, thank you, brother. We'll give you the good feedback and we'll remove the pin and we'll do feedback on all of them one more time, Allyson. Anything Dan did well? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I liked the Dan, in a brief time, you started to really nip around the better together story from a partner perspective. That's important for me. I think oftentimes agencies can be seen as that implementation partner really easily and not that two-way street. So you were starting to allude to that at a few points in your presentation, which I thought was great. I like the seamless nature for an agency to plug in your product and see what a client is doing. That was pretty cool. I know there's that can be pretty clunky. So those are two of the biggest things that really stood out.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you made it clear your program's goal is to build a business together with Allyson and Silverback. I think too many partner managers will keep it all about the commission aspect and what you get if you refer us business. I think you made it clear like your mission is to work with Allyson and Silverback and create a new opportunity for revenue, a new growth channel with her in the form of services and the go-to-market. I thought that was awesome. Incentives aligned with the business growth. You did that really well. You continued that story through the presentation of this is what we're backing. We're in that as an idea, but here's how we're doing it. We're putting a program together that really focuses on creating that reciprocity flywheel that you were talking about. The free Typeform account, this is advice for, I think Lead Post is in this bucket. Katana, not really, but if you have a product that is used internally by the agency, gift them at least some level of an account to use internally, get that pixel on their site, get that form on their contact page so that they can experience and become a power user, ideally, because you're not after Allyson and Silverback's dollars, you're after her book of businesses dollars, you're after her clients. So gift her some level of an account, get that done as soon as possible. And hopefully they use it and become a power user. Meanwhile, you're creating co-marketing, co-selling, building that partnership conversation. So I thought the gifting of a free account was a good strategy for you. All right, Allyson, let's do some things that Dan maybe missed the ball on, and then we'll go back to Katana and then lead posts feedback. And then anyone that has specific questions for Allyson around partnerships, presentation, pitches, strategy, pros, cons, throw her an example and see if she likes that idea. Hang on, we'll open it up to questions right after this. Allyson.
Yeah, Dan, I alluded to this one a second ago, but it likely a shortcoming of the format, but I being completely nascent and not knowing about Typeform and knowing my role as I'm leading revenue, sales, I impact marketing to a degree and have a tether to delivery, but I'm not overseeing delivery. It would have been helpful to understand a little bit more about how this actually plugs into my team's workflow and then ultimately benefits our clients. Again, probably just a shortcoming of this format, and assuming where we're at in the partner discussion. And then why, I'm always curious of like why Typeform versus some other solutions. I'm not super familiar with your tool or the competitor set, but when I think about, form solutions, data capture solutions, I'd love to really understand the why Typeform.
Cool. That's helpful. Thank you.
I have that for lead posts as well, Allyson. I think Katana, I don't know if you did this either, but yeah, I think you got to at least have one main, you don't have to go and talk about the competition and how you're so much better, but have that one, this is what separates us. This is the one thing that customers come to us for that the other solutions in the ecosystem do not. And I'll just show for my second aspect of feedback. One thing that's right on Silverback Strategies website is this logo cluster. And if you look at this, you see legacy industry, banking, university, education, hospitality stuff. And I think Typeform specifically, and then, we can talk towards how the others may have missed this aspect of it. But one of Typeform's main use cases is in the university sector, forms in general. One of FormStack's biggest case studies is between an agency and what they did rolling out an application system for these universities across California. It was a huge client, huge project, tons of money for the agency. It was Carabiner Group. It's on our podcast if you want to listen to it. But I would look at that and I'd say, I see, you're working with these major universities. Typeform is an excellent way to show those universities how they can set up a recruiting system and an HR system as well. And that's one of our big use cases, and kind of, see if that's interesting, kind of leave it out there. And then maybe she's like, whoa, actually, we have a client that would love for us to facilitate that. And we're actually trying to figure out something else to sell them right now. And let's talk about that. You're really going in this 10 minutes. You're kind of trying to tease a bunch of ideas, see what sticks, not, continue to hammer something that's not clearly making her eyes pop a little bit. So like, try to figure out in the conversation, I saw this. What about this? I saw that. What about that? And then, and this snowballs into the lead post feedback. You're not wanting Allyson to dictate the conversation so much. She may have a ton of questions about the product. You only have 10 minutes. You don't want to give away the product secret sauce or even try to explain the product secret sauce in the 10 minutes, even if she asked it. You want to say, I'm glad you asked how it works. Let's do a follow-up call. Bring your strategy, XYZ, marketing XYZ, and I'll go deep dive into how the product works. You're going to love it, and get her to want to book that next call based on a question she actually asked during the presentation, right?
Got it.
Any questions for Allyson right while you're in the spotlight, Dan? And then we can move to the feedback on Katana and then lead post and then open up questions. Any final?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I appreciate the time. It's good to chat. We probably should talk after this, though. I think there might be a fit for what we do. And
Yeah,
what you
I
do.
think that would be great,
So,
Dan.
There's a
sure.
definite fit, I'm sure. And then part of the problem with you not knowing as much about Typeform is I think I may have mentioned to Dan, I think you did know, and it was my fault. I thought for some reason And that's probably my fault. But either way, Katana. So what did you see Katana maybe miss the ball on in that presentation?
Yeah, I think just for, as you showed on our website, we don't work with the sexiest industries. We work with lead gen really specifically and heavily, and the product itself is built for a very small portion of our client portfolio. So if there were a use case, didn't sound like there really is, for how Katana's ERP could manage inventory in the form of people and their hours. Because ERP is something we use internally. We're a services company. That would have been interesting to me because we have clients that face that kind of challenge. But the pain point wasn't aligned with the pain points that our clients are facing.
Okay, and again, part of that, I'll raise my hand. That's partly my fault. I was thinking B2B manufacturing, e-commerce, ERP is where I drew the lines there. So it's my fault.
Yeah. And again, the Better Together story I had for all three actually. Although Dan, you really started to nip at that the most, which was great. But I'm all about that two-way street. Yes, we can be an implementation partner. Yes, there are a lot of solutions we use in our delivery as an agency that we don't have partnerships with, that not necessarily there isn't that two-way street, but when there could be, whether it's through co-marketing, co-selling, referral, obviously, or some other creative fashion, I think that's always good to showcase, because oftentimes agencies can just feel like we're just a gateway to our clients, when for Silverback we're focused on our clients' jobs to be done, which aren't literally just the leads and the traffic and the sales, but what are our clients trying to do, and how does your tool help them do their job better? And how do we do that together as an agency and a tech partnership? That makes me perk up.
I love it. Okay. Feedback for Katana, time management. There were some things you could have probably figured out alignment, and then done a couple shot in the dark types of conversations earlier on, I think, by opening it up maybe with a little bit of Q&A or more Q&A earlier on to try to find that first buying question where you want Allyson to say, oh, does it do this for this type of buyer? And then you can say, yes, it does. And then continue the conversation, focus the presentation more on that. And then, ask more category, vertical specific questions to try to find that alignment. Okay, so let's talk about lead posts. What feedback do you have for Roy and lead post?
So Roy, we mentioned that I like the casual style. I did not until the end, at the very end, you started to talk about how you partner with agencies, but it was a very heavy on the product. And I know I asked that question, but feel free to shut people down when they do, as Alex mentioned. I didn't walk away with a total understanding of how agencies work with lead posts. I understand how it's applied to, your data solution is applied to potentially the marketing campaigns that we would manage for our clients, but how we work together and grow together, that was a miss for me.
Okay, well, and so that's a great point, and in hindsight makes a lot of sense. Would you say that is when you're saying that, are you talking, so the way that I'm thinking that I would have answered that would be, we have agency plans, and they'll pay for a plan, and by having that plan they have discounted data, and then we give them all these resources. And is that kind of what you're thinking, or is it more I don't know, is it something different?
I think it's all ultimately how your partner program is structured. If it's agencies are your clients and then they get discounted stuff to pass through, that's certainly one way. But are there other, I was assuming there was kind of a broader play for agency partners and how you work with them, whether that's through co-marketing or kind of the broader go-to-market. And I did not get that from our conversation.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's good, Roy. And happy to get on a call with you, Roy, after this. Since you're a pro user, you get some free calls for strategy stuff. So book that. This is something lending to what Allison's saying, Roy. If I were you, I would have gone right to the case studies on their site. So /case studies, look for case studies. There's a Mid-Atlantic roofing company. This is all US traffic. There's not going to be a European visitor to this roofing site. I would point right at this and say, you're going to go back to the client and you're going to offer them further lead generation services on top of the site. I'm going to make that super easy for you by providing them a level of account for this price for a initial offering, something that she can take to them and say, this is what we're going to do, or you can bake it into whatever retainer and just eat the costs. And you're going to want to do that because once you get this data, there's a whole lot you can do with that data. And she did mention analytics. She mentioned lead generation, keyword for you, of course. So lots you could go in there. And then if you want to do a little more research ahead of time, you can kind of find out using Built With or some other site what her tech stack is. And she's using GDPR compliant accessibility tools like Accessibility, and User-Centrics is down there. She's got a WordPress site. She's using this forms product. There's conversation starters really in that. So check out the case studies, check out the tech stack that she's using, and be honest and be like, yeah, this is actually a tool that agencies get for themselves. We make it an easy case to get it. And then we put together a go-to-market one client at a time or one sector at a time. Roofing. How many roofers do you have? How many roofing clients do you have? Let's start there. That's an easy one for us. Put together a landing page, have Allyson email out a blast back to the landing page, and the offering is on that. And if it's successful, then Allyson's team will go to the next sector and the next set of clients and go on from there. Any other feedback for lead post? And then I have a couple more.
Yeah, Roy, more on the pace of change related, and nothing changes faster. I could be biased, but I think it's true than digital marketing. You mentioned something around, you focused on the US, so GDPR is not an issue, and we have legal says we're okay in terms of how we work in the US. There was a national data privacy law that was introduced just a month ago, and it's some form of it probably will go into law. So the privacy landscape is something that is having a dramatic impact and reshaping how digital advertisers are doing their job. I would have a really tight response to how privacy is impacting you.
Definitely. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, that's just the sector you're in. So yeah, addressing that. That's a good one, Allyson. I didn't think about that one. Yeah, gave away the farm. I mentioned this. Allyson asked a question about the tech. You don't have that much time to explain it, nor do you kind of want to be backed into that type of conversation on this type of call. You guys are a company, you're putting dollars, resources into this. There's obviously something there. I would kind of shift that conversation to, let's definitely do a follow-up if this makes sense, and lead her down the path of, the sectors and the buying signals and stuff that she can make sure to connect the dots, right? You just want to connect those dots on the services on top of her current clients. The main differentiator, Allyson mentioned this with Typeform, especially for newer solutions that aren't the clear category leader. I believe Typeform's up there, but Allyson just hadn't worked with Typeform for whatever reason. And, that's perfectly okay. Everybody has different experiences with different tools. So you kind of want to put that out there. This is our place in the sector. Maybe you're the lowest cost option. Sure, that's great. Maybe you do everything that Lead Forensics does at a lower cost. That's fine. Or maybe you focus specifically on this one thing and you're better at that, and you're going to become better at that, and nip that in the bud as well. Okay, well, that's that. Anybody have any specific questions about pitching agencies for Allyson, why we still have her? Otherwise,
I do have one.
Yeah.
So Alex, you mentioned something about creating, gifting a plan to somebody. And that's something that I've thought about, like some kind of a B2B plan for it, because then the agencies could use it to see who's visiting their website. And I wonder, Allyson, is that the kind of thing, from your perspective, that you think people would find that valuable and would actually want to use something like that just to give it a shot? I mean, we have a free trial, but I wonder if that's something like that would be better.
Absolutely. I mean, and then we can really speak confidently to this. This is a tool we use. We have that credibility. But yeah, more than a free trial oftentimes doesn't give you the time to be able to truly understand the impact of a tool. So yes, that would perk my interest.
Yeah, you got to think about it like this, Roy. Allison is hypothetically, she likes your solution. She wants to go to market. Now she has to sell herself as the CRO. She's thinking revenue, balance sheets all day long. Like, okay, well, not only do I have to fit you into my SaaS budget, that's one question I got to answer. Is there a need enough there? Then I have to get my team rallied around using it. Then I have to put together blah, 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 and go to market. You can jump over all those steps because that first account from Silverback is not a goal for you. It's not a valuable account. And you can also look into what your competitors do. Ask Allyson or ask other agencies, did Lead Forensics offer you a free account? If so, we'd love to compete there and get you that free pixel. And then the other aspect of that, like Allyson said, is it's going to be odd for her to say to her client, use Lead Post, and they say, how do you like it? And she says, I have no idea. I just think they're a good tool. We don't use it internally. So yes, 110% do that if it's a tool that the agencies can use internally. Same thing with Typeform. If I go to Allison's contact page and it's a HubSpot embedded form and she's trying to push this Typeform funnel set up on me as a client, I would wonder why she's not, using it herself, which is odd. So we worked with Dan and came up with a strategy to say, okay, well, all agencies that will replace the contact form on their site with a Typeform will get a free business plan to Typeform. All you have to do is sign up for the free, replace the contact form, send us the link, and then they go in the back end and update that account to free. So you can give her a hook and say, yes, I will give you this free account if you add the pixel this week, and put me in your calendar for a lunch and learn next week. And you have a free account up to this, tier, not an enterprise level account. She doesn't need that anyways, but up to 10, 15,000 visits a month. And you're happy to provide that data back to her and prove that use case. Right?
Yep.
All right.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Awesome. Thanks, Ferris. Allyson, you've been awesome. I know you're busy and you're trying to put up a program as well. Allison's putting together her partner program. So we're trying to find her a head of partnerships, or
actually we found one. We found a killer and she starts on Monday. So yeah, give us a week or two to get her feet under her, but would love to probably connect with several folks on this call.
Oh, this is killer. All right. Yeah, let's talk about that and let me know when it's appropriate for me to meet her. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks again, everyone. Francois, I see you. Sanir, thanks for coming. Everybody that came. And Allyson, really great. Great feedback.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thanks, Alex. Bye.